Consider this. You're at a busy traffic intersection, cars moving in all directions, and suddenly, an accident. Which car was at fault? Or does the fault lie with more than one car? Did the accident originate from one direction or many directions all at once? The scenario is instructive, playing out time and time again in the mind of Kimberle Crenshaw, one of our country's leading civil rights advocates.
Katherine Johnson, killed in her Atlanta home during a botched drug raid. Pearlie Golden, 91 years old, shot 4 to 5 times by officers in East Texas, who said she threatened them with a gun.
Kimberle has argued that discrimination often comes simultaneously from different directions.
Now, when I introduced the term intersectionality almost 30 years ago, black jobs were available to blacks who were men, and women's jobs were available to women who were white.
Kimberle recognized that while discrimination against African American women was unique and two-pronged, the law failed to protect them adequately.
From the court's perspective, because all women weren't being excluded on one hand and all blacks were not being excluded on the other, these black female plaintiffs didn't have a case to make.
So she became her own vehicle for change, devoting herself to advancing civil rights, critical race studies, and constitutional law.
Her theoretical framework around intersectionality allows us to map the ways that race intersects with gender, ability, nationality, social identity, and inequality.
In 1991, Kimberle represented Anita Hill and her accusations of sexual harassment against then Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas. Again, she argued that the case had to be weighed in an intersectional way, both in terms of gender and race. Her writings on the subject helped spawn the movement known as critical race theory, which claimed that America was grounded in racism and oppression and undeserving of the respect of non-white minorities. Kimberle went on to co-found the African American Policy Forum. Connecting academics, activists, and policymakers, the AAPF addresses issues of inequality through research and public discourse.
We don't wait to get an invitation from the White House or from the caucus to come and tell our stories. We can create spaces to tell our stories.
For 20 years, it has been spearheading important initiatives to advance social inclusion and human rights. Black Girls Matter is a project that reported the serious challenges girls of color face in inner-city school districts. Another campaign, Say Her Name, demands an end to police brutality against black women. And Why We Can't Wait made a plea that was answered by the White House to explore expanding opportunities for women and girls of color.
Some of you might recognize this image. It's a shot from the unveiling of President Obama's signature racial justice program called My Brother's Keeper. Where are the girls? Why are girls and women not seen as subjects of racial abuse?
Through her work and influence at UCLA and Columbia University, these training grounds are preparing a new generation of practitioners, scholars, and advocates. Kimberle's impact is also global. She has lectured throughout Europe, Africa, and South America on race matters and facilitated workshops for civil rights activists in Brazil and India. She authored the background paper on race and gender discrimination for a UN conference on racism and was influential in the drafting of the Equality Clause for the Constitution of South Africa. Today, intersectionality continues to show us the crossroads of racism, sexism, class oppression, homophobia, and more. Her work of the past 30 years has made a vision of justice real, one that expands in all directions to meet the opposing forces head-on, leaving no one behind, and empowering us all.